Okay, so I've charged up my laptop a bit. Satoshi's bat was left carelessly by the side of my desk. I think I already read that, but oh well. Bleep. At that moment, everything went pitch black. There was nothing recorded past this point in the videotape of my mind. No, that wasn't right. It wasn't that there was nothing recorded. It was recorded just fine. Just the other me inside myself had told me not to look and to turn off the TV. Wait, is that what the intro scene was about? I have to go back over that whole intro section when I finish. Just because the screen had gone black and I couldn't see it, didn't mean that the videotape within me hadn't recorded it. Ugh. If the TV was just off, the video was still playing. The tape within me, creaking along, still playing. On the other end of that pitch black screen, that horrifying video was still playing on. Compared to this though, the scene right before my eyes, was still so difficult to take in. There was blood splattered everywhere on the walls, the two of them in these unnatural poses. Not a sign of movement from them. I couldn't even tell if they were breathing. No matter what the circumstances were, my friends, these girls, I had attacked them. I may have even killed them. But if I hadn't done this, I would have been the one done for. Balancing that out on an imaginary scale, it felt odd that I even felt bad about it. Even if it was a bit excessive, this was justifiable self-defense. The proof was all here. The two of them collapsed here in Mion's syringe. Mion's syringe filled with some unknown drug that would certainly solve the mystery surrounding the incident with Tomatake-san. And from the fact that both of these two were involved, they'd be able to pick out the criminals one after the other. Still, I might be suspected for this, but that was just fine. Anyway, now this should be a police affair. This wouldn't fade into the darkness like Renner's past incidents. As long as the police were involved, that should bring this to a close. They'll probably revisit their investigation on the chain of incidents. Oi-san would definitely get to the bottom of it. Meaning, my wish of not wanting to die, of wanting to know the truth, for her to be fulfilled in its most basic form. It's all a matter of time now. If Dr. Renner Cold should be getting here soon, I'll confess everything to him. I need to contact Oi-san. At that moment I remembered, besides the doctor, a manager had been called. It was easy to imagine that there was someone deeply involved with the incidents, judging from Renner and Mion's conversation. The ache in my chest, caused by the gruesome deed I'd done, dissipated rapidly. It was not over yet. This place was no longer safe. Stay calm, Keiichi Maibara. It's not over yet. I needed to live long enough to tell the police of this incident. That moment, I felt like I heard someone's voice from outside. Since people were speaking, it must mean that there was more than one person. Or someone talking to himself. I moved the curtain ever so slightly and peered outside. It was a bizarre sight. About 4 or 5 grown men were all gathered at the gate. They very much resembled the 2 men who had assaulted me at the dam site today. Those 2 might even be among them. There was one person there wearing a white coat. The doctor? The manager? But he didn't look like a doctor at all. My gut told me he was in disguise, only posing as a doctor. That guy would probably ring the bell and get me to open the front door, like you did for Mion. Pretend to be a doctor to get me to open the door, and then the rest of them would all rush in at once. At that moment, I saw the car parked behind the men, and my heart nearly skipped a beat. The white van. No mistaking it. The van. The one that had tried to run me down. The man in the white coat entered the gate and headed towards the front door. The rest of the men hid in the bushes and watched him. I probably couldn't pretend that I wasn't home. Undoubtedly, they'd just break the window and enter. I needed to get out of here somehow. Then use the public phone to contact Oi's son. Then meet up somewhere. First of all, I need a weapon. Then shoes. Before all that, there was one thing I had to do. I had no intention of dying. I'd live and reveal the truth about this nonsense called Curse of Oyashiro-sama. But what would happen from here on, regardless of how determined I was, may bring about my demise. And that was why. There was one thing more important than getting out of here right now. I needed to get that clock out quickly and take down the note hidden behind it. Damn it. The tape was sticking to it fast. It'd be fine if it was torn a little. But that was slightly torn note and began writing another passage with a ballpoint pen. If I wasn't able to inform Oi's son, the only thing I could rely on was this note. I'd never thought a piece of torn, college-ruled notebook paper could be this reliable before. I had no time. I'd only write what I knew right now. I needed to leave some sort of information that would leave him to uncover the truth. Rena and Mion are conspirators of the perpetrators. This was an undeniable fact. I still didn't want to believe it, but it was a fact. Anyway, I'd leave all the information that would help lead them to finding the perpetrators. There are 4 or 5 adults, maybe more. They have a white van. This was everything I was able to see from the window. There may be more. Also, there was that unidentified person known as the manager. To begin with, the term manager didn't even mesh with Hinamizawa at all. If they were going to include a manager from past incidences, then the only one is the construction foreman, the victim from the first murder. The very first victim in the chain of incidents. Killed in the lynching, his body divided into 6 pieces. His right arm was never discovered. The police should have confirmed that death, but Renner and Mion did both call him manager. They said manager. They wouldn't use that term to refer to someone who was dead. Police would never even conceive that someone who was deceased could be involved. Could that be some sort of oversight? I didn't know. But even if I didn't know, it could be a big hint for Oishi-san. That's right. They needed to start fresh from the first incident. It wasn't just a simple dismemberment, but the start of a string of mysterious deaths that would follow. So then, there must be something hidden there. Please reinvestigate the victim from the dismemberment incident. He's alive. His death should have been established after an autopsy. Logically, you would think as much. But was that really the case? Could it have been some sort of ploy they were able to deceive the police with? I shouldn't jump to conclusions, but he may still be alive. No time to ponder that right now. Oh yeah, there's something even more important I need to write. Tomitake-san's death was from an unknown drug. That's right, that drug. It was an irreplaceable piece of evidence. No doubt, just by having this, everything would be uncovered. Couldn't just leave that vital clue lying on the floor. This syringe is proof. Writing that down, I stuck the syringe onto the back of the cloth with plenty of tape. So it absolutely would not slip out and fall to the floor. Firmly. Firmly. And you're out of time. The bell rang. They were here. I couldn't write any more. But even still, there was one last thing I had to write. I have no idea why it has become like this. This may be the closest thing to a truth out of everything I wrote on this note. If you're reading this, then I am probably already dead. They may or may not find my body. If I was going to write out everything that could happen, either dying from the curse, or being demoned away, you who are reading this, please uncover the truth. That is my only desire. Ooh. With this, my last will and testament was complete. It wasn't certain that I was going to die, but it was my final plea, just in case. I folded the note, stuck it back onto the back of the clock, and returned the clock back to its usual spot. You put 3 bags into the same sentence. I couldn't help but pray. Oi-san. If something happens to me, I leave the rest to you. After that, I gazed down silently at Renna and Mion. This is probably the last time we'd ever see each other. Renna, Mion.
俺、みんなのこと、本当に友達だと思ってたんだぜ。
This wasn't what I was wanting. But why did it end up like this? Yeah. I never had any fun in my previous school. I only worried about standardized test scores, but if the school I hoped to get into was where I really wanted to go, or a safety net, that was all I talked about. It was a dull life. The people I called friends were also my rivals in studying, in competitions, in personal records, in standardized test scores. Everyone here taught me how unhealthy that lifestyle was. This month was really fun. Making a fuss over lunch, making a fuss over the club, making a fuss over the festival. Something hot began dripping from my face. Uncontrollable. Tears. I should have no obligation to shed tears for them. But they wouldn't stop. Even if they were after my life, even if they were trying to kill me, everything that happened this month, I wouldn't forget it. What could it be? Those happy days were all a facade as well? Was it all a trap, meticulously orchestrated up until today, to ensnare me? Could it have been that I arbitrarily assumed they were my friends? That couldn't have been the case. Both Renna and Mion, they really were my friends. Those happy days, there was nothing fake or unclear about them. Somebody probably forced them to try to kill me. Or their minds were taken over, possessed by the supernatural entity known as Oyashiro-sama. Regardless, both Renna and Mion, they were the best friends ever. Aww. And when they were coming after me, it wasn't of their own volition. But they weren't the kind of people to set out off their friends, no matter what means were employed to force them. There was no way such a thing as being possessed by Oyashiro-sama could happen in reality. Then, did for real Renna and Mion come after me? What was I thinking? What a silly, dumb idea. Having beaten down both Renna and Mion, I was still debating if they were real ones or fakes. There was no real or fake, only the reality that was before me. Renna and Mion were sprawled out at my feet. That was the only truth. I was only trying to twist the facts to my benefit, that I had beaten my friends to death. No matter how I spun it, it wouldn't change reality. Renna and Mion were both dead. Felt like there was a crack in the dam with strange emotions I was holding back. Damn. It felt like my calm state, which was nothing more than a bluff, had receded, and in that opening, insanity was leaking out. I killed them. I killed them. Renna and Mion. I killed them. The doorbell rang again. The unrelenting echo pulled me back into a state of composure once again. I didn't have a moment to spare. Quickly, I needed to get away. I didn't want to die. I would uncover everything after that. The identity of whoever or whatever had pushed me this far. Even if I had to drink mud and eat grass. I would survive. I would survive. Yeah, I would definitely survive. I killed Rena for that very reason. I also killed Mion. I went that far just to keep living. So I can't die. For my sake, for the sake of the late Rena and Mion. I have to survive. I ran towards the door, grabbed my shoes. The doorbell rang again, as if to urge me on. Behind this single, solitary door, they were there. Keeping quiet, I headed towards the kitchen, headed towards the back door. Before opening the back door, I put my ear to it and checked for people outside. No one? After I put on my shoes, I opened the door slowly so as not to make a sound. The piercing voice echoed out. That voice stabbed through me, setting my hair on end. I had to run. Get out of here, Keiichi. One after the other, I felt stuff like rationale and intelligence, those things you use when you have time to spare, spill out of me. I didn't feel any pain from the branches scratching my arms and forehead. My autonomously pulsing heart also felt neither fatigue nor pain. My entire being just wished to live. There was nothing else it desired. Probably had no complaints whatsoever. So of course it wouldn't feel fatigue. I just ran. Just recklessly rushing in the direction I was already heading. Even if nobody was chasing after me, I would still be running like this. There wasn't a thought in my mind about where I was headed. Turning around, I felt a presence right next to me. That presence was, without a doubt, chasing me like my shadow. If I even took one misstep, I would be devoured. That's what I thought. So I didn't turn around. I didn't stop. I ran. At full speed. That was the chirping of a Higurashi telling me it was evening, trying to tell me something. And then I finally heard it, the wailing cries of the victims who didn't make it. Would I be joining them? Only the Higurashi knew. They knew everything. They definitely knew. So I ran towards where I could hear more of the Higurashi's chirps. But the farther I ran, the farther away their chirping became. I couldn't get near them. Why are you all running away? Was it my fault? Was I the one to blame? Then I'll apologize. I'm sorry. 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 I felt that only the Higurashi knew. The smoking room was filled with a cloud of cigarette smoke. The expensive smoke filter gave off some crackling electric noise, but it didn't seem like it was doing anything at all. Why do smokers have to be shoved so far down this corridor where the sun didn't even reach? I recalled hearing that the tax revenue from tobacco was about 1/10 of the municipality's revenue. We were the most heavily taxed members of this municipality, so I really wished they'd show us a little more respect.
どうしてこれがウーマン切りなんすか？街が狭くなっちゃうっすよ。
One of the younger detectives was having a staring contest with the Mahjong magazine called Next Turn.
ウーマン切ってもテンパイ崩れませんから、配定にかけるなら両面で受けた方がチャンスあるんじゃないですか？
I don't know, Mahjong.
熊ちゃん、川を見てください。ウーマンは全員切ってますから、 安牌なんですよ。終盤で K 点に走った誰かがダマで待ってたら嫌でしょ。
納得いかないっすね。
Yeah, the kid let out another groan, put out a cigarette, then took out another one.
わざわざ自分で当たり牌減らすなんて。
ちなみに配定で当たり牌出しても論しちゃダメですよ。
え、どうしてですか？
Just then I heard a voice coming out from down the hall.
大石さん、いますか？一般の方から凱旋です。
ありゃ、こりゃどうも。
Oops.
それじゃ、ちょいと失礼。
どうして論しちゃダメなんすか？ああ、待ってくださいよ、大石さん。
Yeah. I have no idea what any of that really meant. The man sitting in the seat Oi-san was heading towards waved at the telephone received from.
凱旋です。講習から。
ああ、どうもすいません。お待たせしました。大石です。もしもし。
大石さんですか？もしもし。
前原さんじゃありませんか。どうもどうも、こんにちは。
From the tone Maibara-kun's voice, I already knew he was in a predicament. This was the first time Maibara-kun had phoned me, and he was calling from a payphone.
落ち着いてください。何がありました？
その、あー。
His voice was erratic over the line. He completely lost his sense of composure. After checking that nobody else could hear, I prompted him in a hushed tone.
何があったんです？
俺。
落ち着いて前原さん。
Oops.
今そこに近場の警官を行かせます。私もすぐそっちに行きますよ。
その、多分無理です。
His voice was quivering and hoarse. He wasn't surrounded by people, even as he was making this call, was he?
前原さんは今公衆電話からかけてますよね。
I just had a chill go through my body right
ど
there.
この公衆電話ですか？
There were no other sounds beside Maibara-kun's voice. It had to be a phone booth. I scratched out a note and thrust it at my colleague sitting across from me. Hinamizawa, phone booth. He understood quickly and hastily started on the internal lines.
落ち着いて前原さん。今どういう状況なんです？
It was best practice to avoid clustering someone panicking, but this was an urgent case. Maibara-kun didn't just get in trouble, get away, then call me. He was in the midst of something dangerous right now. But yelling at Maibara-kun right now would have just needlessly caused him to be even more frantic. Maibara-kun wasn't just calling to seek help. He was trying to tell us something more than that. Whatever that was. If I didn't get from this call, I was certain there would never be another chance. My colleague pushed a note in front of me. There's only one booth in Hinamizawa. The patrol car is on the way. 5 minutes.
かかりすぎです。警らには何人乗ってます？
二人です。
Not enough. If it's as I imagined, there are likely quite a few people surrounding Maibara-kun. 5 minutes was too long.
ひなみ沢の駐在さんには電話しました。
定時巡回の時間です。家人は留守で連絡不能。
そう。くまちゃん、車を回してください。
了解っす。
もしもし、大石さん。
What?
もしもし、大丈夫です。ちゃんと聞こえてますよ。
There was something wrong with Maibara-kun. That wasn't a normal coughing sound. Vomiting? Or was it blood? Had he already been attacked? Was he injured?
前原さん、今そこに警官が向かってます。2、3分で到着しますから、なんとか持ちこたえてください。もしもし、聞こえてますか、前原さん。
I could hear on the other end of the line that he was having a coughing fit. Worst possible situation popped into my head, and mine as well.
前原さん、犯人は誰です？何人なんです？
俺も最初は人間が犯人なんだと思います。
I couldn't tell if I was a cough or vomiting.
大丈夫ですか、前原さん。
犯人は人間なんだって。お社様のたたりなんかないんだって。ついさっきまで。だけどやっぱり。
It was an intense bout of coughing, then vomiting.
でもやっぱりお社様ってのはいるんだと思います。いや、います。今。
前原さん、どうか落ち着いて。
なんかさっきからおかしいと思ってたんです。ずーっとつけてくるんですよ。
Like,
走っても走っても走っても走っても影みたいにぴったりくっついて、だけど少しずつ俺の背中ににじり寄ってくるんです。
Okay, I had to look at my back just then. That felt weird.
前原さん、そいつは今ひょっとして前原さんの後ろに。
後ろに、すぐ後ろに。
お願いです、前原さん。怖いのはわかります。ですがお願いです。あなたの後ろに誰がいるんです？
振り向けるわけないじゃないですか。振り向いたら俺。
怖いのはわかります。でも教えてほしい。ちょっと振り返るだけでいいんです。前原さんの後ろに誰がいるんです？
Right after I said that, I could hear him vomiting intensely. What followed was a nightmarish sound.
前原さん、あんたまさか喉を引っかいてたりはしないでしょうね。
There was no answer, but I could hear something like scratching. Yeah. There was a bang, as if something was being hit. My baracon had probably dropped the receiver. I could hear groaning and vomiting on the other end, and a repeating, abnormal noise.
もしもし、もしもし、前原さん、もしもーし。
I knew how far away my voice would sound on the other end, but I couldn't help but shout. At that moment, I heard whispering coming from the other end. I couldn't tell what he was saying. From the way he was saying it, was he talking to himself? Or was he talking to someone there?
もしもし、前原さん。
Rather than whispering, it was some kind of mantra he was chanting over and over. I focused my senses, trying to pick up what he was saying. But what was he repeating? What exactly? Beep. Suddenly the line went dead. Did you use up his time? It was because it was a payphone. It was because it had cut out so abruptly. The last thing he said came out so clearly in my mind.
おいさん、車は OK っす。おいさん。
ごめんなさい。
おいさん。
That's what he was repeating, over and over. He said, I'm sorry. I had a gut feeling. Like, that's what Rena said, it's this thing which you can hear, which is just constantly saying, I'm sorry. I had a feeling there was no longer a need to hurry. I could hear the chirp of a Higurashi spilling in from the open window. I should have been able to hear them this entire time. I just wasn't paying any attention. Why did I focus on them all of a sudden? Were they trying to tell me something? Only the Higurashi knew. So wait. There's multiple games of this series. I thought Keiichi would be like the protagonist. Why is he dead? That's how I felt. What?